Hello, everyone. Welcome back to EasyTalk English. We're really happy to have you here today, especially if you're joining us after a long workday. This is the place where we talk about real life, real feelings, and real English you can actually use.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for spending some time with us. I have to be honest, I'm a little tired today, but in a very familiar way. I feel like this kind of tired will sound very normal to many of you.
You already sound like someone who worked too much this weekend. Let me guess, you were supposed to rest, but work somehow followed you home. Am I close?
Very close. I told myself I would just finish one small thing on Saturday, and suddenly half the day was gone. By Sunday evening, I felt so tired that I didn't even want to talk to Mike, and that's not normal for me at all.
That really says a lot because you usually enjoy talking and catching up. When work gets to the point where it takes away your energy for people you care about, something feels off. I've been there many times myself.
The worst part is that even when I stopped working, I didn't really relax. I was sitting on the couch, but my mind was still thinking about emails and unfinished tasks. It didn't feel like real rest.
Yes, that feeling is so familiar. You work too much, but when you finally rest, you feel guilty for not working. It's like your body wants a break, but your mind won't allow it.
Exactly. I kept thinking I should be doing something productive right now. Even watching a movie felt wrong, like I didn't deserve it yet. That's when I realized this isn't just tiredness, it's imbalance.
I had the same thought last week. I finished a big task and decided to rest, but after 10 minutes, I felt uncomfortable. That's when I knew rest had started to feel like a luxury instead of a basic need.
And that's actually why today's topic feels so important. Work-life balance often sounds like something nice to have, but not necessary. In reality, it's something we all need to function well.
Absolutely. Work-life balance isn't about being lazy or doing less. It's about having enough energy for work, relationships, health, and yourself. Without balance, everything slowly becomes harder.
So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about work-life balance in very simple, everyday English. We'll share real experiences, honest struggles, and practical ideas you can actually use. If you've ever felt tired but still guilty for resting, this episode is for you.
Exactly. This is real English for real life, and today's life topic is something almost everyone is dealing with. Let's slow down a little and talk about why balance matters so much. So, Alex, before we go any further, let's slow down and talk about the basics. When people hear work-life balance, it sounds big and a little abstract, but actually, the idea is very simple.
Yes, I agree. Work-life balance is really about how you divide your time and energy. It means you don't give everything to work and leave nothing for your personal life.
Exactly. Your personal life includes rest, family, friends, hobbies, and even quiet time alone. Balance means work is important, but it's not the only thing that matters. You need space for both.
A lot of people think balance means working less or not caring about your job, but that's not true at all. You can care about your work and still protect your personal life.
That's such an important point. Work-life balance is not about being lazy. It's about having enough energy to do your job well and still enjoy your life outside of work.
And there's no one perfect formula for everyone. Some people are happy working long hours, and others need more free time to feel okay. Balance looks different for different people.
Yes, balance is very personal. For one person, balance might mean leaving work at 5 p.m. every day. For someone else, it might mean working more during the week but resting fully on weekends.
For me, balance means having at least one full day with no work at all. If I don't have that, I start to feel tired and annoyed very quickly. That's how I know something is wrong.
That's a great example. Your body and your emotions often tell you when balance is missing. Feeling tired all the time or losing patience easily are very common signs.
When balance is good, life feels lighter. You sleep better, you feel calmer, and work doesn't feel so heavy. Even small problems feel easier to handle.
And interestingly, balance also helps you work better. When you rest enough, you can focus more, think more clearly, and make fewer mistakes. Rest actually improves productivity.
I noticed when I'm rested, I teach better and enjoy my classes more. When I'm exhausted, everything feels harder than it should be. The work doesn't change, but my energy does.
That's why work-life balance is not a luxury. It's not something extra for special people. It's a basic need, like sleep or food.
So, if you're listening right now and thinking, this sounds like my life, you're not alone. Many people struggle with balance and don't even realize it. Naming the problem is the first step.
Exactly. Now that we understand what work-life balance really means, let's talk about how to know when your balance is off. That's where things start to feel very real.
So now that we know what work-life balance is, let's talk about the signs. Because most of the time, people don't suddenly realize they have no balance. The signs show up slowly in daily life.
Yes, and many people ignore these signs for a long time. They tell themselves, it's just a busy period or it will get better next week, but the body and emotions keep sending messages.
One very common sign is feeling tired all the time. Not just tired after a long day, but tired even after sleeping. You wake up already feeling exhausted.
That kind of tiredness is different. You rest, but you don't feel refreshed. It feels like your energy never fully comes back, no matter how much you sleep.
Another sign is when work follows you everywhere. You're at home, but your mind is still at the office. You're eating dinner, but thinking about emails and deadlines.
Yes, your body is at home, but your brain is still working. Even when you try to relax, you feel uneasy. You can't fully enjoy your free time.
Relationships also change when balance is off. You talk to friends less. You cancel plans more often because you're too busy or too tired.
I remember that very clearly. When I was in Hong Kong, I slowly stopped calling my family, not because I didn't care, but because I felt I had no energy left at the end of the day.
That's such an honest example. Work doesn't just take time, it takes emotional energy too. And when it takes too much, there's nothing left for people you love.
Another sign is losing interest in hobbies. Things you used to enjoy suddenly feel like effort. For me, it was yoga. I kept telling myself I would go next week.
And next week never came. That's a big warning sign. When even joyful things feel heavy, it means something is wrong.
Exactly. Hobbies are supposed to recharge you. When you stop doing them, your stress just keeps building up with no release.
Stress shows up in emotions too. You get irritated easily. Small things make you angry or you feel impatient with people for no real reason.
I noticed that in myself. I became less kind, less patient, even with people I cared about. That was scary because it wasn't who I wanted to be.
Sleep problems are another common sign. You feel tired, but when you lie in bed, your mind won't stop. You replay conversations and think about tomorrow's tasks.
Yes, your body wants rest, but your brain refuses to slow down. That kind of sleep is not real rest. You wake up feeling just as tired.
Looking back, did you realize these signs while you were in Hong Kong or only later?
Honestly, only later. At the time, I thought I was just being strong and hardworking, but my body and emotions were clearly asking me to stop.
That's such an important lesson. Our bodies speak before our minds understand. If we listen earlier, we can avoid bigger problems later.
Exactly. Feeling tired, distant, stressed, or disconnected is not weakness, it's information. Your body and emotions are trying to protect you.
So if you're listening and recognizing yourself in these signs, pause for a moment. You're not broken and you're not failing. You're receiving signals.
And noticing these signals is the first real step toward balance. Before fixing anything, you need to see what's happening. In the next part, we'll talk about why this imbalance happens so often.
Now I want to share something very real from my own job. As a teacher, work never really ends. There is always another lesson to plan, another student to help, another email to answer.
That's so true, especially for jobs where you care a lot. When you love your work, it's easy to keep giving more and more, but that doesn't mean it's healthy.
Exactly. I used to think stopping meant I was lazy. If I wasn't working, I felt guilty, even on weekends. My mind kept saying, you could do more.
Many teachers feel that way, not just you. Helping people feels meaningful, but it can slowly take over your whole life. That's when balance starts to disappear.
And it's not just teaching. In many cultures, working long hours is seen as a good thing. People believe that if you work more, you are more successful.
Yes, work culture is very different around the world. In some countries, staying late at the office is normal. Leaving on time can even look lazy.
I saw that when I lived in Japan. People stayed at work even when they finished their tasks. It wasn't about productivity, but about showing dedication.
That kind of culture creates a lot of pressure. People feel they must always be available. Rest becomes something you earn, not something you need.
On the other hand, some countries focus more on balance. In parts of Europe, people protect their evenings and weekends. Time off is respected.
I noticed that too. Friends in Europe don't answer work emails at night. It's normal to say, I'll reply tomorrow, and nobody is angry.
Then there's remote work, which has changed everything. Working from home gives freedom, but it also creates new problems. The line between work and life becomes blurry.
Yes, when your home becomes your office, work is always nearby. You might check emails while cooking or think about tasks while resting. It's hard to truly switch off.
I experienced that myself. I thought remote work would give me more balance, but at first, I actually worked more because I never left the office.
That's such a common experience. Remote work gives flexibility, but it also requires strong personal boundaries. Without them, work can slowly fill every space.
Some people love remote work because they save time on commuting. They can spend more time with family or hobbies. That part is very positive.
Absolutely, but only if you choose balance on purpose. Flexibility doesn't automatically mean balance, it just gives you the chance to create it.
That's the key point. Balance doesn't come from your job or your country alone. It comes from daily choices, even small ones.
You can live in a busy city and still protect your evenings, or you can work remotely and still feel burned out. The environment matters, but choices matter more.
So when people say, I can't have balance because of my job, I understand the feeling. But I also believe we always have some control.
Maybe not full control, but some control. Even choosing when to stop checking messages or when to rest is a powerful decision.
And those small decisions add up over time. Balance is not about quitting your job or changing your life overnight. It's about how you live each day.
Exactly. Different cultures, different jobs, different lifestyles, but the same truth. Work-life balance depends on personal choices and awareness.
In the next part, we'll talk about practical ways to create balance in real life. Not perfect balance, but realistic balance that actually works.
Yes, simple habits and small boundaries that anyone can try. Because balance is not a luxury, it's something everyone deserves. Now let's move to the most important part, practical tips. These are not big theories, just small things you can actually do in daily life. You don't need to change everything at once.
Yes, balance doesn't come from one big decision. It comes from many small habits. Let's start with the first one, setting clear working hours.
This sounds simple, but many people don't do it. Decide when your workday starts and when it ends, and try to respect that time as much as possible.
I used to work whenever I felt like it, especially in the evening. But now I tell myself, work ends at 7 p.m. After that, no emails and no lesson planning.
That one rule changed a lot for you. When work has an ending time, your brain can relax. Without an end, work feels endless.
The second tip is learning to say no. This one is very hard, especially for kind people. We want to help everyone.
I struggled with this for years. I said yes to extra work, extra projects, extra favors. Inside, I felt tired, but I didn't want to disappoint anyone.
But saying yes to everything means saying no to yourself. Your time and energy are limited. Saying no is not rude, it's honest.
Now I ask myself one question before saying yes. Do I really have the time and energy for this? If the answer is no, I say no politely.
The third tip is scheduling personal time. Treat your personal life like work appointments. If it's not planned, it often disappears.
I literally put yoga, walks, and dinners with friends into my calendar. They are blocked like meetings. I don't cancel them easily.
I do the same with running and photography time. When it's on my schedule, I protect it. It reminds me that my life is not only work.
The fourth tip is unplugging from technology. This is a big one in modern life. Phones and laptops keep us connected to work all the time.
I turn off work notifications in the evening. At first, it felt uncomfortable. I was afraid I might miss something important.
And did anything bad happen?
No, not really. Most messages could wait until the next day. I realized many things feel urgent, but are not truly urgent.
I also don't check work email before breakfast. The morning sets the mood for the whole day. I want to start calm, not stressed.
Another simple habit is keeping phones away during personal time. No phone at the dinner table. No phone during conversations.
It sounds small, but it makes a big difference. You feel more present with people, and people feel more valued.
The fifth tip is using your vacation days. Many people save them and never use them. They think they are too busy to take time off.
I used to do that. I thought taking vacation meant I was not serious about my job. But rest is part of doing good work.
Now I plan my vacation early. Even short breaks help. When I come back, I have more energy and better focus.
Rest is not a reward for finishing work. It's a requirement for continuing work. That mindset change is very important.
The sixth tip is communication. If you feel overwhelmed, talk to your team or manager. Don't wait until you are burned out.
I know this is scary for many people, but good managers want their team to be healthy. They don't want you to quit or get sick.
When I told my manager I was overloaded, we adjusted my schedule. I didn't get judged. I got support.
If communication feels impossible, that might be a sign. A workplace that ignores balance can slowly damage your health.
Another helpful habit is having a clear end-of-work routine, something that tells your brain, work is done for today.
For me, it's closing my laptop and making tea. That simple action helps me mentally switch into personal time.
For me, it's changing clothes and going outside. Even a short walk helps separate work and life.
None of these tips are complicated, but doing them consistently is the key. Balance comes from repetition, not perfection.
And remember, you don't need to apply all tips at once. Choose one or two and start there. Small changes are more sustainable.
Work-life balance is not about working less at all costs. It's about working in a way that still leaves space for life.
Exactly. When you protect your energy, you actually become better at your job. Balance supports success. It doesn't fight it.
In the next part, we'll talk about emotions, modern life, and why balance is so hard today. Because it's not just about time, it's also about feelings.
Yes, and we'll also talk about being kind to yourself, because balance starts with how you treat yourself, not just your schedule.
Now let's focus on language. These are simple English sentences you can actually use when you talk about work-life balance. You don't need advanced grammar to express real feelings.
Yes, many learners think they need big words, but they don't. Clear and honest sentences are enough. Let's start with a very common one.
I need better balance. This sentence is short but very powerful. You can say, I need better balance between work and personal life.
I use this sentence a lot. When work feels too heavy, I tell myself, I need better balance right now. Just saying it helps me pause and reflect.
Another very useful sentence is, I'm feeling overworked. Overworked means you are working too much for too long. It often comes with tiredness and stress.
For example, you can say, I'm feeling overworked this month, or I've been feeling overworked lately. This helps others understand your situation.
I wish I had used this sentence earlier in my career. Instead, I stayed quiet and just pushed myself harder. Saying it out loud can be the first step to change.
The next sentence is very important in modern life. I'm trying to disconnect from work. This means you are making an effort to rest mentally.
You can say, I'm trying to disconnect from work in the evenings, or I'm trying to disconnect on weekends. It shows intention, not perfection.
I like this sentence because it's honest. It doesn't say you're perfect at balance. It says you are learning.
Now let's talk about priorities. A very useful phrase is, I prioritize. This means you choose what is most important.
For example, I prioritize my health, or I prioritize time with my family. This shows your values clearly.
I often say, I prioritize rest and exercise. It reminds me that these things are not optional, they are necessary.
Another key phrase is, I set boundaries. Boundaries are limits you create to protect your time and energy.
You can say, I set boundaries by not checking email at night, or I set boundaries between work and home. Simple, but very clear.
When I first learned this phrase, it helped me explain my choices without guilt. I wasn't being lazy, I was setting boundaries.
Let's practice putting these sentences together. For example, I'm feeling overworked, so I need better balance.
Or, I prioritize my mental health, so I try to disconnect from work after dinner. These sentences sound natural and calm.
Here's another one. I set boundaries because I want to stay healthy. You don't need to explain more than that.
Exactly. These sentences are not excuses. They are self-respect in English.
When you use this language, you also change how you think. Words shape behavior. Speaking about balance helps you build balance.
And remember, balance is a skill. It's something you practice, not something you magically have.
Some days you will do well. Some days you won't. That's normal. What matters is awareness and small adjustments.
Using these phrases regularly helps you notice when things are off. Language becomes a tool for self-care.
In the final part, we'll review key vocabulary, ask you a question, and invite you to share your experience. Because balance grows stronger when we talk about it together.
Yes, real English comes from real life, and talking about balance is one of the most important conversations we can have.
Before we finish today's episode, let's take a moment to review the key vocabulary. These are words you can use in real conversations about work and life.
Yes, don't rush this part. Understanding and using these words will help you speak more confidently about balance.
The first word is balance. Balance means having the right amount of work and personal life. For example, I'm trying to find better balance.
The next word is overwork. Overwork means working too much for too long. You can say, I've been overworked this month.
Our third word is flexible. Flexible means not fixed, easy to change. For example, I have a flexible schedule, or my work hours are flexible.
The next one is disconnect. Disconnect means to stop thinking about work and truly rest. You might say, I try to disconnect from work at night.
Then we have prioritize. Prioritize means choosing what is most important. For example, I prioritize my health, or I prioritize time with my family.
And our last word is boundaries. Boundaries are limits you set to protect your time and energy. You can say, I set boundaries between work and home.
Now let's move to our question of the day. This one is very personal and very important.
Here's the question. What do you do to maintain work-life balance?
Maybe you go for a walk after work. Maybe you stop checking email at night. Or maybe you're still learning and trying to find balance.
Try to answer using at least one word from today's vocabulary. For example, I prioritize rest, or I set boundaries by turning off notifications.
Please leave your answer in the comments. Writing your thoughts is a great way to practice English and reflect on your life.
If today's episode felt familiar, please give it a like. It helps us reach more learners just like you.
And if you enjoy learning real, everyday English through honest conversations, don't forget to subscribe to EasyTalk English.
We're building a small community here, a place to learn English and also learn how to live a healthier life.
Remember, real English comes from real life, and taking care of your life is always worth talking about.
Thank you for listening today. Take a deep breath, take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next episode.